Nothing ever surprises me with the Milwaukee Brewers in the regular season, but did we expect them to get over the 500 mark this quick after that 0-4 start? We'll talk about that and a whole lot more coming up next here on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
The Brewers made that thing look so easy. They scored early, got up to an early 4-0 lead, settled for a 7-1 win behind Freddy Peralta, and the bullpen threw shutout baseball over the final 4 innings, and the bats got going as well. 3 home runs in 1 inning. We'll talk about all that coming up here, and we'll also talk about the trade the Brewers had made and get some reaction to that. And I know some of you weren't happy about it, and we'll get the whole preview Wednesday's game as well. Good to have you along. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. I apologize again for the makeshift studio. This is the last night we are in this makeshift studio out in Colorado, out in Denver, Colorado. And I'm telling you, it was a nice night. It was a beautiful night, but I could not make it to the game. Could not make it to the game. Shannon was out here on business, so I could not make it. So went to a place to watch the game in Vail, Colorado, which is in the middle of nowhere, beautiful area. But the game was not on TV at the place we went to. Tried a couple of different places. The game was not on TV. So here we are eating dinner, watching the game on the iPhone. Yes, I had to do it. You got to do what you got to do. And it was great. So we had dinner, watched the game. And, everybody's probably watching us and saying, look at what are they watching that screen for? Can't they put the game on here? No, because the Rockies weren't shown in Vail, Colorado for some reason. And I asked the bartender behind the counter, I said, can you put on the Rockies game? They're playing the Brewers. He goes, yeah, we don't get we don't get that here. And the Rockies are terrible anyway. And I was just like, I don't care if the Rockies are terrible. I'm going to watch the Milwaukee Brewers. We're from Wisconsin. So, ended up watching it on my iPhone. But anyway, it's still a 7-1 win, no matter how you slice it up. 7-1 and over the 500 mark for the first time this year after that 0-4 start. And first of all, we'll start with Freddy. Freddy again, another solid start out of him. Wasn't a quality start. Wasn't the 8 innings of that he pitched the last week against Kansas City when he was just amazing. But this one, 5 innings, gave up a home run ball, turned it over the bullpen, and that's when the rest of the guys took over. Uribe looked good, although he made a throwing error down the first base line when he rushed himself a little bit. Piamps saw Nick Mears make his 2025 debut, and he looked pretty good. And then Hudson finished up. We've seen a lot of Brian Hudson here in the early part of the season. So 4 relievers finished up for Freddie. And Freddie, yeah, he did enough to get the job done. He walked more, he walked some guys tonight, which he had not done in his previous 2 starts. And that was a little bit of control issue, but I thought it was a solid start out of Freddie. You'd take that out of him. And Colorado, I know Colorado's a bad team. Yeah, that bartender didn't have to tell me that Colorado's a bad team. I've seen enough of them, but I know the Brewers also come to Colorado, to Coors Field, and they struggle with them, but not last night, not on Tuesday night. Brewers were never threatened in this one, and they got the job done. So yeah, getting over the 500 mark this soon, didn't expect it, quite honestly. I thought, it might take a little bit. I knew they were going to get over the 500 mark. Brewers are a good team. But a week ago this time, they got their first win, but they were 0-4 going into last Tuesday. And I was going on talk shows and doing Locked On Brewers, and I heard from you all on Twitter, and I was part of it too. Like the world was over after an 0-4 start. The pitching staff was terrible. It was one of the worst starts in Major League Baseball history, literally. But they've bounced back from all that. And now they're looking like the Milwaukee Brewers that we all know. Now, they beat a Reds team this past weekend 3-4 that had some sicknesses, and they beat a Colorado team that's not very good. Let's see if they can continue on. Brewers have this penchant, other than winning in Colorado, to take care of business against the bad teams. But they won 93 games last year, and they got to keep it up because the Cubs, be honest, I'm a little worried about the Cubs. I'm going to get to that a little bit later on in the show because the Cubs are playing some good baseball. But Christian Yelich turned on one for his first home run of the year. Now, I've looked at Yelich last couple of seasons and seen a slow bat and didn't see him turn on a lot of pitches. This one he did. He turned on a pitch, looked like he got up in that Colorado air a little bit, and he carried over the right field fence. So I was encouraged by that. William Contreras, 2 hits. And we know he's struggling. He was batting like 120 coming into the game. And we all know the struggles of William Contreras. But William, he's too good of a hitter to be kept down. And he powered one over the left field fence for his first home run of the season. But how about Brice Turang? And I'm going to touch more on Brice Turang coming up here on the break, after the break in a little bit. A 444-foot home run, longest home run of his career. Now, let me tell you this. Brice Turang hitting one 444 feet. That is like in the 80s when the Brewers started keeping track at County Stadium of the tape measure. They'd always say, the distance of that home run, 380 feet or whatever. I believe in the late 80s when they started doing this, the longest home run for the Brewers would have been like a Rob Deere home run of 440 feet. And that was considered like a booming moonshot. That was like one of the home run he hit on Easter Sunday in 1987 against the Wind, like one of the longest home runs of the 80s. So that was 440 feet. And that was a monster. Turang, little guy, powered one 444 feet. Again, the Colorado air, but still, we'll talk more about that coming up. And then, of course, would a Brewers victory be complete without talking about Jackson Chourio, who had an RBI double to kind of get things going, got the Brewers on a board early in this game with a 2-run RBI double. Saw on Twitter tonight, Brewers Raptor, I want to give him credit, saw on Twitter that he said that the odds for Jackson Chourio for National League MVP right now are plus 3,700. So what that means, if you laid $100 on Jackson Chourio to be National League MVP as of right now, according to what Brewer Raptor was reporting, and he was the MVP, he'd win 3,700 for your $100 bet. For Jackson Chourio, not a bad proposition at this point, huh? Jackson Chourio, man, that guy just continues to do amazing things, doesn't he? Put that ball off the center field fence for a triple in a later at bat. Now he's stranded over at third. No out triple, stranded over at third, but that's not his fault. But he did his job, nearly clearing the fence in straightaway center field. Ike Collins was in the lineup. Like I said, the Brewers love themselves some Ike Collins in the leadoff spot. When he's out there, he seems like he produces. Went down the left field line tonight and almost injured himself. Well, he hurt himself. Seems to be okay, but he had a bad collision with the fence down there. Ike Collins, hopefully he's okay, but he came back at his next at-bat and got a base hit the next half inning later. All right, we come back. We'll talk a little bit about Brice Turang. We're going to get into this trade that the Brewers made as well, trading for Quinn Piester. We'll get to all that coming up next. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Locked On Brewers, brought to you by Just Ingredients. I'm running a new computer here. I don't really like doing the show outside the studio, my home studio, to be honest with you. Doing it on the road and having this scenery and a hotel room and all that. So 99% of the time, I'm usually in my home studio, except for tonight's the last night of doing this. Next tomorrow night, we'll be back home. Just Ingredients. When it comes to fueling your body, quality matters. It's Just Ingredients, changing the game. Clean, high-quality products designed to support better health and peak performance. Just Ingredients offers NSF-certified line of protein powder, electrolytes, pre-workout, and creatine. Bryce Harper, the 2-time MVP, he trusts the NSF-certified sports line to fuel his training and recovery, and we know how good that Bryce Harper looks. So, clean and transparent ingredients. I love that. We want that. Fueling performance, whether you're recovering from a workout or you need the energy to boost, they will deliver for you every time at Just Ingredients. All you got to do is, if you're on Instagram, you can go to their Instagram site as well. It's at just.ingredients, just.ingredients. And you'll check it out and you'll see how clean and transparent their ingredients are, what their fueling performance is about, and what they can do to your body, and how they can fuel your body because quality matters to them, and certainly it matters to you. Visit justingredients.us online. Use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB, and you're going to get 20% off. And again, for all those wellness tips, go to their spot on Instagram at just.ingredients and find out more about Just Ingredients and what it can do for you for your workout. Chuck Friedman here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on Locked On Brewers. Whether you're listening to us on the audio platform, on Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you are listening to us on the podcast on a Wednesday morning, thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, if you're viewing us on YouTube, our growing YouTube page, please, if you're on the audio platform, go to our YouTube page, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That'll alert you every time we drop an episode here on Locked On Brewers. All right. Brice Turang in the 9-hole tonight because the left-hander was on the hill. But, I want him, and he's been hitting the leadoff a lot against the right-handers. He was talking after the game. Saw the video, Todd Rosiak's video from the Journal Sentinel, put it out on Twitter tonight, and he, along with the rest of the media that's out there covering it, we're talking to Turang, and he was talking about the hard hit balls. He was asked about all the hard hit balls. He says he's getting older, he's getting stronger, and of course he's hitting the weights. He's 25 years old, and this is going to happen to Jackson Chourio. You turn into that man phase, and we all know that. And those, when you're weightlifting and you're at a certain age, and when your muscles mature, your body matures, man, your muscles get that much stronger. And that's Brice Turang says that's what's happening right now. He's moving in his mid-20s, all the working out, the weightlifting, the off-season conditioning and all that, it's paying off. He's growing into his body, so to speak. And now he's got 2 home runs in the season and a booming one on Tuesday night. But with Brice, as you could tell, he's not hitting those bleeders into the short center field or right field or over the shortstop's head or weak little ground balls. He is hitting the ball with authority. Now, we don't need Brice Turang to hit home runs in this team. I don't care how well, of course we care, but that's not what I want from Brice Turang. I want hard hit balls, gappers, and line drives up the middle, which he says he likes to do. That's what he's aiming for. So the home runs, yeah, he hit a 440-foot home run on Tuesday night, but the 2 home runs, just like Sal Frelick, I don't care really. I just get on base. That's all that matters to me. But Brice Turang, off to a solid start, just like he was last year. Just like last year. I believe he hit 312 for the month of April last year. I got that correct off the top of my head. Just hitting well. Eyeing up the ball, whether he's in the 9-hole against lefties or in the 1-hole against righties. Love Brice Turang. And I said in the offseason, I want Brice Turang in the leadoff spot. I want him in the leadoff spot. Love him in the leadoff spot with his speed, the way he makes things happen. And now, hitting the ball with authority, love me some Brice Turang in the everyday lineup, that's for sure. This trade that the Brewers made, Quinn Piester, the Brewers gave up Rodriguez, first-round compensatory pick. I've always had problems saying compensatory pick in the draft, and then the old player to be named later. Now, before I get to Piester, I think the Brewers gave up way too much. Nothing against Piester, but who are the Brewers bidding on? Who were they? Was there a bidding war for Quinn Piester that I don't know about? I mean, were the Red Sox trying to hold on to this guy who's got a 6 ERA in 21 Major League Baseball games? What am I missing on this? I know he's got the 6 years control. We love our guys with the control. It just gets old hearing that, but I get it. I hate playing that game. But you mean to tell me to get Quinn Piester from the Boston Red Sox, they had to give up Rodriguez, who, man, I was looking forward to watching this guy grow through the system. Young guy. Yeah, there were some little comparisons to Jackson Chourio because of the age, but, whatever. But he was one of their top prospects. He was like ranked 8th in their system. Young guy ranked 8th. I want to see more of Rodriguez. Man, I hope he don't turn out to be a star. Well, I hope he does for his sake, but man, I don't know. I did not want to give up. I just thought you gave up him, and then you gave up a compensatory first-round pick, plus cash or a player to be named later. It's like, were the Boston Red Sox, did they put one over on the Brewers here? Say, well, this is what we want? No, here, you can have Rodriguez. No. In addition to Rodriguez, not only do we want one of your top prospects, we want a first-round draft pick, and we want a player to be named later. Oh, okay, anything. Brewers must really like this guy. That's all I'm saying. Obviously, they like the team control. Murphy was talking before the game today that he praised the Brewers front office for making a quick move, and he said there's a high probability that Piester is going to start in a vacant hole in Thursday's game, the afternoon game in Colorado, because right now the Brewers are starting pitching short. We know that. We know all the guys that are down. But I like to think the Brewers made this deal not out of desperation because they need starting pitching, but they saw a guy that they like, and maybe he's a former first-round draft pick, and they see something. He's been sliding down a little bit, though, in recent years. Again, at the major league level, well, his fastball tops out at 97. I think that's a good thing. He's put on some strength. We'll see. Again, getting Piester aside, I just thought the Brewers overspent. But now that they've given away that much for him, let's hope he amounts to something here with the Brewers, and going to start on Thursday. But I don't think Matt Arnold was sitting back at his office thinking, oh my God, I need a starter for Thursday. What am I going to do? He calls up the Boston Red Sox. Hey, I want that Quinn Piester guy. What would you like to give up? How about Rodriguez, one of our top. Okay, we'll take him, but we want more. How about a first-round pick? Take him. We'll even throw in some cash. You got it. Piester is yours. Like I said, who are the Brewers bidding on for Quinn Piester? My goodness. So he'll start probably in Thursday's game. We'll get more confirmation tomorrow on it. But yeah, that trade kind of baffled me. And nothing against the kid, okay, but I don't know. I didn't fully understand what the necessity was, other than the fact that he's got 6 years in control. The Brewers need a starter on Thursday, and they gave up one of their top prospects for him, in addition to a few other things. I don't get it. Brewers also made a move for Daz Cameron. That move doesn't do anything for me. He's down at AAA. He's 28 years old at this point. Hasn't proven he could be an everyday player, utility guy, maybe. Brewers gave up Grant Wolfram, who was on this team for a cup of coffee on Saturday night, and then by Sunday he was DFA'd and traded eventually. And the Brewers got some cash from in the deal as well from Baltimore. So that deal, that's a low-level move. And Daz Cameron, I don't know. I'm not going to get too excited about that move. All right. Coming up next, we'll talk about who hit his first Double-A home run, a guy we should be excited about in the future. All that and more coming up next here on this edition of Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. As I'm doing that, I'm scrolling down to try to find the right sounder here. And again, this is what happens when I try to do this show on the road. I think we're going to miss it here too. By the way, thanks for everybody for DMing me. I appreciate all the DMs. And if you want to DM me, go to Chuck Freeman, Freeman, Freimund, and I'll certainly take care of you by answering all your questions. I got a couple of guys who, got a lot of questions and asked me multiple questions, which is okay. I might not be able to get to you right away, but please, I will get to you as soon as possible. We're coming right back after this. Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book for. I love their live lines. The Brewers game today. Now, if the Brewers would have got down early against Colorado, I might have jumped on them. But I did like the live line. Houston to Seattle in a tie game late. Houston got the job done. Got a pretty good plus number on that as well. But you can, whatever you like on the live lines, man, they're so good at live lines over at FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are almost here as well, and live lining on the NBA playoffs is always a great deal. And right now, when you join FanDuel, place your first $5 bet, you'll get a $250 in bonus bets. That's the highest that they've offered so far. $250 when you place your first $5 bet. And FanDuel makes things so easy for you and so easy. Again, look at their live page. Their live page, you're going to get that $250 in bonus bets, and you're going to do with it whatever you want to do. Very generous over there. All you got to do is place your first $5 bet. But you got to head on over to FanDuel. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Claim your $250. $250 while you can in bonus bets at FanDuel.com. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. All right, down the stretch we come here on Locked On Brewers. Brewers have another game in Colorado. We'll talk about that coming up here in a couple of minutes. Cooper Pratt, first AA home run. Blasted one tonight. Saw that on Twitter. We're all hoping Cooper Pratt is going to be on the team maybe next year or the year after. We will see. But Cooper Pratt, congratulations on your first AA home run. I said at the top of the podcast today, the Brewers are chasing the Cubs. And I'm a little worried that and I know it's only April, that the Cubs keep winning. Won again today. I know they blew a lead on Sunday against the Padres. But the Cubs just keep winning. And I'll be honest, man, been watching a few of the Cubs games, and they look a little better than I thought. They're finding ways to get it done. Took 2 or 3 from San Diego over the weekend, a red-hot Padres team. And the Cubs are legit. I still think, though, when I match up player for player, position by position with the Chicago Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers, the Brewers are a better team. I honestly feel that in my heart. The Brewers are a better team. But the Cubs, I think the Cubs have the capability of winning 90 games. They can. Brewers have that capability too. But it's going to be a great summer. It's going to be a lot of fun. Brewers and Cubs. And the Reds are starting to turn it around too. Reds dropped 3 or 4 here. They just went out to San Francisco and took 2 in a row. So the Reds are the other team I'm expecting to be in this NL Central race. On Wednesday, the Brewers face Senzatella. He's a guy who tore his ACL back in 2022. And it's been a long recovery for him coming back. He did come back in 2023, but he hasn't felt 100% until right now. In his last 2 outings, he's pitched well. He hasn't given up an earned run yet. He's pitched 9 2/3 innings so far of shutout baseball. In the earned run, he's given up an unearned run, but he's given up 10 hits. He gave 10 hits in his first start against Philly in 5 1/3 and gave up 1 earned run there. So again, 9 2/3, 2 games. Got a lively fastball. He really attacks hitters. We've seen him before, Senzatella going for the Colorado Rockies. Brewers coming back with Tyler Alexander. And we saw what he did Friday night against the Reds, 5 2/3, coming out of nowhere, just getting the job done. 5 2/3 of no-hit baseball. God, I hate when players get taken out when they pitch a no-hitter. I really do. And I know that's really old school of me, but Tyler Alexander, man, how many chances does Tyler Alexander have it throwing a no-hitter? But, the Brewers looking at wins and get the job done. But Tyler Alexander, a chance to earn his stay in the Brewers rotation as well, because with all these injuries, there's competition among some of these other guys, like a Tyler Alexander, like a Chad Patrick, to stay on this roster and not get sent down to AAA or DFA'd. In Patrick's case, sent down to AAA, Alexander DFA'd. So these guys are trying to make their way and keep their way here while they can and pitch as well as they can. But Tyler Alexander looked great on Friday night. He's a veteran. He's been around a little bit. Let's face it, he's a journeyman pitcher. But he went 5 2/3 against a Reds team that was pretty punchless until Saturday night in that series. Even on Sunday, they got back to in San Francisco, the Reds were terrible as well offensively, but they squeezed out 2-0 and 1-0 victories in each of the last 2 nights. But we'll see what Alexander does against this Rockies team. I don't think this Rockies team is bad, but they still have a couple of bats there. They're going to make things happen. So in baseball, I just never take anything for granted. Sensatala against Alexander in game 2 of the series coming up on Wednesday night. Out here in Colorado, in Denver, Colorado, where at night tonight it was supposed to be like 40 degrees for the game overnight, or by game time, it said 40 degrees, but game time temperature was 70. This weather is odd out here. It is odd weather out here. It could be really warm one day, and you go to because I've been to Coors Field before. You go to a game and you're thinking, God, it's gonna be a beautiful day. Man, the weather turns. You get 5 seasons, sometimes 5 seasons in a span of 3 hours out here in Colorado if you're going to a Rockies game. So if you're going ever out here, make sure if it's nice during the day, you still bring that winter coat because the weather can change very quickly. All right, that's going to do it. Hey, everybody, get our podcast on Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you download your podcast on the audio version. Please set your alerts there. And, of course, go to our growing YouTube page, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That alerts you every time we drop an episode on Locked On Brewers. We'll be back at our normal Locked On Brewers studio tomorrow night after the game and join you then. Hopefully the Brewers can keep this thing going. They have won 6 of 7 after that 0-4 start. This is Chuck Freeman. Have yourself a great Wednesday, everybody. This has been Locked On Brewers.